Well, here's something unusual and hopefully cool. It's a Laney sound. I don't know the year yet. We'll discover all that together. I don't know the model yet, though. I imagine it'll say it on the back. We'll find out. But aside from that little old break in the perspex, the plexi over in the right bottom corner, everything on the front seems to be in real good shape. Are these knobs cool or what? Pretty little switch surrounds. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with them, because good luck finding anything like that. But these knobs are cool, and they're very unusual that the indicator point is here. So 0, 3, noon, etc. Not the most intuitive I've seen, but, you know, they did it their way. It is a Supergroup Series Mark I session amplifier, 50 watts. Serial number blank, and down there they have the serial number, but no model number. Voltage set at 250 volts. I'll have to double check that, because it is for a US owner. Missing a nut on the speaker jack. Feels and looks like just a cliff jack. That shouldn't be a problem. Then they've got a variation on the Marshall impedance selector thingy. 8 and 15. Feels pretty solid. Hopefully it just needs to be cleaned and won't be any issue. 600 milliamp fuse. I don't have any of those, but I can get one. 2 amp. If it's set to 250 volt use, 240 volt use, that'll need to go to a 4 amp for 120. And that power cable looks pretty wimpy, don't you think? Let's find out what's behind the curtain here. Okay, all the tubes were set in bubble wrap. That's good. Put these to the side for now. All right, this is not going to work. It's going to need a new power cable. And there's not a lot of room there. Well, we will jump off that bridge when we come to it. Something needs to be done here. I can tell this just through that grommet. There's probably just a loop in it. Just for fun, let's open up this add-on grounded plug and see if all the connections are actually made inside it before we pull things out. But I see what looks to be partridges in there. Okay, well, this is not really that safe a connection to begin with. The hot and neutral were done correctly. The ground, of course, was not, it's just hanging on there by a few threads. Doesn't matter, this is going away. It's going to get a new power cable with a solid plug where this cannot get tugged just the right way to make it unsafe or unreliable. All right, there are no screws from the sides or the top holding this chassis in place. So I suspect it's going to be these, and probably one down there where I can't show it right now. So let me hold my mouth just right and get a flathead screwdriver and see if I can fit my hand down in that space to the right of the power transformer and see what I can do about getting this thing out. Okay, it's already been set to 110 volts according to that. I'll need to triple check all that and make sure everything's hunky-dory with 120 volts coming in. Looks to be original on that cap. There could be a later replacement that just looks the part. There's been some major heat issue at this socket. I will make sure that there is no conductive paths. Sometimes when these old, let me get this to focus right. Sometimes when this old phenolic gets too hot, you can have carbon scoring. I'll make sure. Everything else looks okay. I was right on the partridges. This one, the choke, I don't like it when flanges are bent like that. It just puts a lot of strain on things. So I'll probably get in there with some additional washers to really get that ultra reliable. I don't know how to date partridges, but the internet does. I'll find out. TEC687 686 6865 G 9988. Well, since the top ones have the same format, I would guess that it's a 7th month of 68, or I'll have to figure that out. It's definitely not the 87th week or the 68th week of anything, so let's see what the insides hold for us. I could probably just ask the owner, but I like to verify these things and find out for myself whenever possible. Okay, starting on the inside, got all original Erie caps. Every one of these needs to be changed out. I don't care what some guy's uncle's brother-in-law's cousin says on the internet. These are older than I am. And sometimes I'm leaky too. So all these are going to get changed out. Phillips mustard, Iskra resistors. This is very similar. Probably Lemco caps, very similar to a lot of Marshalls from the same period. Board is dirty. That's not necessarily a problem. Now we get down here, we get into some replaced stuff in the bias. And there's just no excuse for using a black cat in here. And this modern radial held on by tons of silicone and some changed out wires. I'll sort out what's going on there and see what can be done to make it beautiful again. The other side of that power transformer. And I'll get all that wired to safety code. This side of the tube sockets doesn't seem too bad. Got some 470R 5-watt radio spares resistors. Those can be quite good. Hopefully they still are. One Erie carbon comp here. Erie carbon comp resistors rarely work at this point. I've done that dance trying to get ones that work, so I expect that will need to be changed out. Fortunately, all the others seem to be these Iskra carbon films. Now, we've got some issues once we get to the pots. Radio spares cap there on the presence control. Now, someone at some point in the past has put this white garbage all in the pots. It was started off as some kind of lubricant. This crap gets conductive, and does not need to be in this amp. I'll see how much of it we can clean off and clean out and how the pots are working. Once I'm sure that it is safe to power on. So that will be after we get new caps and a grounded power cable in. And I make sure that this bias circuit is sane. And I bet it would be a good thing to put in an adjustable bias circuit. There certainly is not one here. And down here we've got this multi-section can cap that also needs to get replaced. This switch does not seem to be original. Fortunately, the old dress nut on the front matches it, and as long as it's working, no big deal. Needs a lot of cleaning. you know, this stuff on these spooge all over the pots. That's just insulting. Whoever did that needs to take up a new line of work. Out of a sort of morbid curiosity, I got as much of the white stuff off this. It might be white lithium grease, which is still not something that you want to have in a pot, out as I could, to see if it would just clean up more easily than I feared. And no, it's down in the pot. I can see it embedded in the little notches in the wiper and the contacts. It's hard to show this on camera, but I can see it moving around in there. So it's possible that every one of these pots will need to be taken apart and cleaned, and then some new grease put in, and lubrication and all that fun stuff. I never want to do this kind of thing. I don't want to invent labor or, you know, charge people because I want to charge people. But 10 minutes of a previous tech's bad idea has led us here. P.S. I hope the seller didn't tell the buyer, my client, that everything's working perfectly. No cathode connection here at pin 8. That's kind of critical, don't you think? That'll get dressed up.